Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's see if I have control here. I think I do. Yes. Okay. So for those of you who, well, maybe I don't have control. Hang on a second. For those of you who are not quite familiar, I'm going to give you a real brief history of American Business Systems. We are a family-owned and operated business. My parents actually started a medical billing company here in Dallas back in 1987 and built a very successful business and got to the point where they were able to start teaching other people how to get into business for themselves and be successful like they had done. So in 1994 is when they formed American Business Systems, and we have helped many different people from all different walks of life all over the country build their own successful medical billing business as well. And so that's really what we're doing this for. You know, the enjoyment that we receive in this business is all the success stories that we hear and all the testimonials that we get on a weekly basis from people, most of which had no prior background in the industry, no medical billing experience, nothing. And we've shown them how to be successful in this. And so that's why we do what we do. If you haven't been to our website, I'm sure you probably have, but if you haven't been there, it's absystems.com. And it gives you a real good high-level overview of what you get for your money, how much is it, how do we help you get clients, that sort of thing. So I would say start there if you haven't already. And then for those of you who are ready to explore a little bit deeper, we have a virtual brochure or an online brochure that actually has a lot more content in there. So how you get access to that is by going to our website here and clicking Request More Info or the Get Started Here button. Fill out a real short little form, and you'll get immediate access to the virtual brochure. And here's a slide of what the virtual brochure looks like when you get into there. You'll see there's several different topics up here that explores every aspect of our business model, and each one of these sections up here has like 8 or 9 slides that you go through, and so there's a lot of content. There's videos, there's testimonials, there's software demos, references that you can call, all kinds of things in there to help you in doing your due diligence on us. So we would encourage you to check that out when you get a chance. Trying to get to the next slide here. We are members of the Healthcare Billing and Management Association. They are the premier nationally recognized organization for people that are running their own medical billing businesses, and they're a great resource. I would invite you to check them out as well. You know, if you'd like to contact them, you're welcome to do that. But they've been a big help with us in helping our licensees. We also have one of the highest rating that you can have with the Better Business Bureau, the BBB. We are on their Fort Worth listing, so if you look us up on the Fort Worth BBB, you'll see that we have an A+ there. We're very proud of that rating, and we've been a part of that organization listed there for many years now. This is our corporate headquarters. This is a picture of our headquarters in Keller, Texas. Keller is a little suburb just north of Fort Worth. And we would be happy to have you come by and visit with us anytime. Just give us a call, and we can schedule a time for you to come by and visit, and you can meet the staff, meet with Patrick, and see our organization and see our day-to-day operations. We'd love to have you there. So just let us know. Just a real quick thing about our live training workshop. For those of you who don't know, we do a live training workshop every 6 weeks, and the class is a Monday through Friday. It's a 5-day class, and those classes fill up pretty quick. Each class has an average of 15 to 20 people every time, so the seats are very valuable, and it's kind of, you know, you're able to come to the class based on when you're able to get your funding and your paperwork in and all that. But for those of you who are looking into attending our next class is May 20 through 24. And last time I checked, I believe we had 5 seats left. So we do have a few seats left for that, but they're going fast. Probably by the end of this week or early next week, they'll be gone. So if you guys are trying to get into that class, please contact us at that phone number and let us know, and we'll do what we can to get you in the class. Our founder, my father, is an author and a professional speaker. He's written several books. These are a few of his bestsellers. if you will. The first one is the How to Reprogram Yourself for Success book. This is a personal development book that he wrote based on several different events that happened in his life, and how he was able to, through positive thinking and through self affirmation, he was able to become successful and really turn his life around from a success standpoint and be the man that he is today. He wrote another personal development book called Wake Up and Live the Life You Love. He co-authored that with several different authors. Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, and Mark Victor Hansen were also in that book. He also wrote a book called Cash Crunch to Cash Flow, and this is a book specifically written for our licensees to use as a marketing tool. And we talk a lot about this book in training. It's a very neat tool because it lets doctors know, without, subtly let them know that they have problems that they need to address. And a lot of doctors just don't even realize the different areas where they're losing money. And this book helps them identify that, and we show you how to use that as a marketing tool. So with that, I think we've got Patrick on the line. Patrick, you there?
I sure am, Adam. Thanks. I had to unmute my phone there. Well, okay, I think we're already seeing some questions coming in here, so this is going to be good, Adam. I think people like this being live like this.
Great. Yeah, we were talking earlier about this being kind of like a fly by the seat of your pants radio show, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, Adam, I do see one hand raised there. Dallas, I guess, is the first name there, Dallas. And so I don't know if they really are on a headset or not. It shows they're on the computer versus a phone. But folks, again, as Adam said, you need to be on a headset there. So Dallas, we're going to unmute you here in just a minute and let you ask your question, and we'll see if you are really meant to raise your hand.
Yeah, Patrick, I've actually got a couple of people saying my cell phone that I'm on doesn't sound very good.
Oh,
can you hear me okay?
Well, yeah, it's coming through on my end okay, but I do see those notes here, a couple of people. You're breaking up, it says, and so forth. So let's just see what happens, Adam, here in just a minute and see if it clears up, because it's pretty clear on my end.
Okay, yeah, I apologize. I actually don't have a landline, and I'm at home, so all I have is my cell phone. That's my only option.
Yeah, you might just talk a little bit louder or closer to that little mic or something, Adam. That may be all that's problem, because you're sounding better now.
Okay. How about this? Does that sound any better?
Yes, it does on my end for sure. Yeah.
Okay. I took the silly headphone earbuds out, or whatever you call them. Okay, so we had a question and they disappeared. Where'd they go?
That happens sometimes.
Oh, I see a question here from Marie. Marie's got her hand raised. Do you want to try to unmute Marie? You want me to do that?
Sure.
Okay, let's see if this works.
All right.
Okay. Marie, you are on the air live with Patrick.
Hi, Marie.
Marie?
I don't have a hand raised.
Can you hear me now?
Marie, we can hear you. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Sure can.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just going to check to see if there is going to be a paper printed that can be printed from tonight's presentation.
Let's see. That would be kind of hard, but I'll tell you what. Even better, Marie, we're recording this whole thing, so we're going to post it as a one of our recorded webinars.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah. So if you want a copy of it or want somebody to send you a link to it, just email us and let us know that you'd like a copy of that, and we'll send you the link. Sure.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Thanks, Marie.
Thanks.
Now,
Okay.
see, that wasn't too painful, was it, folks?
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
I see another hand raised here, so let's see if we can get some questions going. Let's see. Karen has raising her hand. Let's see if we can unmute Karen. Karen, if you're ready, get ready. I'm going to unmute you. Here we go. All right, Karen, if you can hear us, you're on the air.
Hi.
Oh, boy.
We got an echo. We got an echo.
Okay, now, can you guys hear me?
Oh, yeah,
Much
that's
better.
much better. Hi, Karen.
Okay. Hi. I actually had you on the phone, listening to you on the phone at first because you were coming in very choppy through the computer, but now you sound a lot better, Adam.
Oh, good. Yeah. Sorry about that. Okay.
Okay, my husband Wayne is actually here. I know we spoke to Patrick a while ago, and Wayne has a question.
Hi, Wayne.
Hi, hey Patrick, hi Adam, how you guys doing?
Doing great.
Doing great.
What question you have for us?
Okay, well the question I have for you, Karen and I, first of all, we're excited about joining your family. We just joined recently, and we're looking forward to the June class. The question that we had, we're trying to do a lot.
Super. I didn't realize that. I didn't recognize your last name there. Maybe that email didn't go out. Did you just sign up this week?
Yes, last name is Dabney. Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes, we did. We just signed up for the. Matter of fact,
Yesterday,
Yes.
I sent in the paperwork yesterday, and we'll be in the June class.
Well, that's terrific. I'm always, about 2 days behind on who's joining us, so I'll be giving you all a call here in a couple of days and welcoming you.
Awesome. Thank you.
So Patrick, you and Adam, the question I had, Karen and I, just doing our own due diligence, and we just wanted to just ask a question on the June class. I know we have time, but we just wanted to know from a revenue perspective, when we generate revenue based on metrics and KPIs, what's the number one type of physician that you normally have from a metrics for revenue? So Karen and I can target that type of audience when we first start going out.
Well, the very best that we've ever found are just general practitioners. In other words, not any of the specialties. Like, a podiatrist or a chiropractor or something like that, but just a general family practice. Single doctor, or one or two doctors in the office, and, basically any volume of claims to start with, because even if it's a small volume, that's good, right, to get some practice.
Right.
Absolutely. And I just want you to know, Alicia has been wonderful, so we appreciate the.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that so much. Alicia is my niece.
Oh, great. Good to know.
Right.
Very helpful.
She's great.
Well, thank you. I'll pass that on to her.
Thank you.
All right. Appreciate the question, guys. We'll see you there in June.
Look forward to seeing you
Awesome.
guys.
Thank you.
And I'll talk to you here in a couple of days.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Karen. Thanks, Wayne.
All right, thanks, Adam. Bye-bye.
Okay, we did it. I don't know if they were on cell phones or laptops or both or what, but
I heard a little echo there in the background. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We've got a question here. Safa would like to ask a question. Safa's got his hand raised. Let me see if I can unmute you, Safa. If you're ready, I'm going to try to hit unmute here. Okay. So Safa's on a phone. It says send audio pin to enable muting. Do you know what that means, Patrick?
Send audio pin to enable muting. I don't know. I think if you click that, I just did. He's probably going to get that message pop up on his screen there, and that will, I think, allow him to. Maybe we can unmute him now. I don't know how that works. Safa, we're working on that. We'll see if we type something in the question box there, Safa, and we can answer it there if you just want to type it in. I think I see.
Well, I think I can just tell him. You just push #122# to unmute. I believe that's what it's saying. For him.
That is what it says.
So if you can hear us, Safa, push #122#, and it should unmute, I believe. That may actually be, yeah. I don't know. Well, let's see if they come on later. But let's see. I don't see any other hands raised. If you've already asked your question, if you could go ahead and just unraise your hand, if you would. I do have another hand raised here from Al. So Al, it's letting me unmute you, I believe. Al, get ready. Let's see if this works. Al, you should be on live with Patrick. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi,
Hey, Al.
Hi, guys. How are you?
So I know that you have many different types of marketing techniques that you teach and promote. And I was wondering if you find, if you have an opinion, is it better if a new licensee just sticks with one and focuses on one type, or is it a good idea to try a few different types of marketing techniques?
Al, we've found that it is better if you try several different things that we teach. We'll go through probably 10 different ways to market during that week's training, and each one of those are specific to this type of business, the medical billing business specifically. So even though they're common ways of marketing, I mean, let's face it, there's only about 20 ways to market, right? And so we go through about 10 of those that we have found really do work, for our business. And we tell people, try a mixture of those to see which one seems to be working the best for you, which ones you like the best, and then just go for it. If it's working, just zero in on that one then and focus on that.
So you think it's more of a fit for the person? You have to find the one that fits you?
Yeah, and some of them you won't even want to try. I mean, I can tell you, Al, that most people come to the training and they will look at some of the things that we teach and go, you know what, that just, I don't have the time for that, I don't have the personality, the money, or whatever, and so they just won't try some of them at all, which is fine, because we've just found that all of them work. It's just that in your particular area, with your particular personality and background and so forth, some will work better than others. So
okay,
thank you. Try different ones. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for the question. That's a great one.
Yeah, hey, Al, if I could just add to that, I was going to say, if you have, well, let me unmute you again. Have you talked to any of our references yet? Yes, quite a few. Actually, one, I'm from Long Island, and I talked to, I forgot his name. He's right in New York City, actually. Okay, yeah, you probably talked to Benny or Benjamin or one of those guys. Well, yeah, I was just going to say, and you've probably already done this, but I was going to say, to get a better idea, talk with several references, and you'll find that different licensees gravitate towards different marketing methods just because they work better for that type of person. So you can start to figure out, okay, this person has a personality that's more like me, and these methods work better for them, and that sort of thing. So I think that would help. But it sounds like you've probably already done some of that. Yeah, I think the people I talked to was networking. One used networking. I think it's the woman who comes in and teaches the networking out of Denver, I think, Bonnie.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Bonnie. Yeah, spoke to her, and I think the gentleman, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, out of Queens in New York City, he started with a pharmaceutical sales rep helped him out or something.
Benny, that was Benny.
Yes, that's who it was.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a great guy. I've been up there to his office, by the way. I've met his staff and took a little tour of his office and took them out to see a play. My wife went with me, and yeah, they're just a real dear couple. No background whatsoever in this business, by the way. He was trading stocks, I think, and then he started a janitorial business or something. And he said, I never made a penny at it, but that's how they got started. Yeah, and now they've got a staff of about 5 people. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say anyone I talk to is very generous with their time and just loves to share their experience.
Yeah, and we're just very fortunate and very thankful to have licensees that are willing to, take calls from, people who are looking into the business. They went through the same thing you're going through, so they had to dig their way through that maze of stuff that's out there on the internet too.
Okay, all right. Well, thanks, Al.
Yeah.
All right. We have got a bunch of questions that came in that were typed in, so let's just get started. Candace asked the question, how do I get the software needed for processing medical claims for physicians without being scammed?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. Well,
yeah, Candace, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say it kind of ties in with what I just said, that there's a lot of stuff out there on the internet you have to wade through, and there are scams. Let's face it, in every industry, there's people out there who are scamming people. Now, folks, we've been doing this for 20 years, and you can talk to, dozens of people that have gone through our training if you want to, and so it's pretty obvious that we're not scamming people, but you wouldn't know that until you have gone through our training and seen what it's all about.
Yeah, and that's also why we have many different steps in doing your due diligence. Like, we provide a lot of different ways to get more information on our opportunity before you even come to the class. So we've got this online brochure. I don't know if you've been through that, but there's several, we talked about that in the beginning. There's lots of other things we can do. We can visit with you at our offices. You can do a software demo with us. We can show you the system. Of course, talk with all the references that we can provide. Many, many different ways to do due diligence before making that decision. But like Patrick said, I mean, even after you go through all of that, you can still come to the class in Dallas, and we have a money-back guarantee. So you can sit through the whole class and learn everything there is to learn about our opportunity and how we help you get clients and how the services work. And if there's anything that doesn't make sense, you can get your money back, and we'll part as friends.
Yeah, now, you may have been asking Candace also from this aspect. It could be that you're wondering what software is there out there that I can buy or download right off the internet, to do medical billing. And there are lots of different systems that are out there. Even some of them are web-based, like ours is, that will let you do medical billing. I used to sell in our package, as a part of our package before we came up with our web-based system, Metasoft, which is a software package that you can buy out there on the internet. But remember, folks, that doing this business is not just about the software. There's software out there that for $1,000 you can get software that'll do medical billing. So why is it that you would pay us our lifetime licensing fee of $25,000? It's because you either know what you're doing and are confident that you could go out and get a client, and that you can learn all you need to know about medical billing from just books or whatever, or you want a turnkey package that has already been tested and proven by hundreds of people over the last 20 years that this actually works and can get you started much, much faster than you could on your own. It's not that you couldn't, it's just that sometimes it's just better to take somebody who's already been there, done that, and has a t-shirt and go with them. And that's us.
Yeah. Great. Let's see. Safa actually typed in their question. I completed the medical billing courses, and I'm interested to start my own medical billing business, but my concern is how to begin and how to get clients or doctors.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
You've come to the right place.
Yeah, and Safa, you're not alone. There's a lot of people probably on this call tonight that have maybe taken some kind of medical billing courses or coding courses and things like that, because there is a lot out there on the internet that you can take. But what that does basically is prepare you to go get a job in a doctor's office. It doesn't prepare you to start your own business, because let's face it, the hardest part of any business, not just this one, is how do I get clients? That's why we tell people that we've been doing this for 20 years. We kind of figured it out. We've broken the code, so to speak, and that's why we come up with the 10 different ways to market this, because getting the doctors to listen to your story and knowing how to approach them in a consultative way, not as a quote unquote salesperson trying to sell them something, that's not something that's easy. It's something that you need to know exactly what to do and what not to do, because believe me, we spend a lot of money and time figuring out what not to do.
Yep. All right. Let's see. We've got, we answered that one already. Triasa asked, how will ICD-10 impact this system when it is built on ICD-9? That's a great question. We actually keep the system updated for you, and it's a web-based system, so that means you never have to download any upgrades or pay for any installed updates or anything like that. Literally every morning when you log into the system, anytime there's changes to regulations, or for example when the medical codes change to a different version like you're asking about, all of that is done for you automatically. And our program, our system actually is ready for ICD-10 right now. So as soon as it becomes regulation, as soon as it's regulated and the government says, okay, now you have to start using it, boom, it's in your system and it's ready to go.
Yeah, hey, it's actually even better than that, because Adam, as you know, our system will actually suggest codes. If you've put in a code, let's say the doctor gave you a code that was an ICD-9 code, the older codes, and the new ICD-10s that are supposed to come out by October of next year, if he gives you a code that's a 9 and it should be a 10, or there's already some 10s that are available for that, our system suggests those codes right now ahead of time, because we've got full-time certified medical coders that make sure that our coding is correct and up to date in our system, because remember, it's a real-time system live over the internet. So every time you log on, you're looking at the latest codes. We have them in there automatically every time you log in.
Yeah, and I don't know if you just mentioned this, but you don't have to know coding as a licensee, because the codes are built into our system and maintained by us. And most of the time, the doctors are giving you the codes that they want you to put in. There are some doctors that will ask, for help with their coding to make sure that they're doing it right. And when that happens, you'll utilize our certified coders for that. So our licensees are able to offer that as a solution to doctors without themselves having to go through 6 months of certification for coding. Yeah, so you don't have to know anything about coding. Yep. Great. So let's see. Eric asks, is there a way to know how many ABS licensees are in your area?
Yes, Eric. Your ABS rep, whoever it is that you're talking to or have gotten emails from our office, can work with you specifically on that, because I know that a lot of people have a concern. Are there other licensees that you've put into my area? Which really boils down to this: is there enough business out there, for more than one person in an area? The answer to that is yes, because folks here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which we've been our whole 20 years in business, of course we have people here, several people that are licensees. The good news is that none of those licensees have ever contacted us and said they've ever run into another licensee or have stumbled over one another out there, because, well, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, of course, it's a big metroplex area, so it's got like 37,000 medical providers here. You couldn't possibly run across one another with that many out there. So it all depends on your area, and Eric, all you need to do is just contact your rep, the person that you've been talking with or corresponding with, and ask them that specific question, and we'll be glad to provide that to you. We just don't have that database, here tonight, so we can look that up.
Great. We actually have somebody raise their hand. Ron raised his hand, so I'm going to see if I can unmute Ron. Ron, if you're ready, I'm going to click unmute. Ron, you're live.
Hey, Ron.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hey, all right.
Patrick, I appreciate you having this webinar tonight.
Yeah, thanks for being on here.
Eric and myself had a couple conversations over the past few weeks. It's been very helpful. My primary concern... Yeah, you're Eric. Yep.
Eric O'Shea here. Yeah, okay.
My primary concern is the uncertainty of Obamacare. And what I've found, what I've stumbled on, is seems like there's corporations that are capitalizing on that uncertainty out there. And there's a lot of medical groups and doctors and hospitals and so forth that they don't understand the impacts the impacts that they're going to be facing. So they're doing what they can to protect themselves. And so some of these corporations are out there, and they're capitalizing on that, and they're, picking up hospitals, they're picking up groups, they're picking up individual practices, and not only that, they're controlling access to the doctors by recruiting at universities, and they're controlling the access to the medical groups and the hospitals. And I'd like to know how do we address that as a new licensee? How do we crack that egg there?
Yeah, good, Ron. Thank you for that question, because we are getting that quite a bit. I'm going to mute you, Ron, because I'm getting a little feedback here on my end. But we get that pretty often here because people have heard that Obamacare is going to change things, and you're right. There are hospitals who are buying up private practices, and doctors are selling their practice basically to the hospital so that they become employees. So we've done a little research on that, and in fact, that was one of the questions that somebody had sent in to us for tonight through an email. So I had prepared a couple of slides here that I'm going to throw up on the screen here just so you can see them. And this is an online, Medical Economics is an online magazine for doctors, but you can see up here that the date on this is April 25th, so it's fairly recent. And it's all about this very question that you just brought up. So one of the things in that issue is this chart that you see right here. One of the questions that they asked to professionals in this field, both heads of hospitals, doctors, and others, what is the future of independent small and solo practices in primary care? And as you can see, more than half said that there will always be a place for them. Now, that just means that there is going to be, as far as most people are concerned, always a private practice. Doesn't mean, though, that there's not doctors, joining, like it says there on the screen, that are becoming a part of a hospital system, or, some of them say eventually all practices will be part of a hospital system. That's a very small number that say that. But here's the real facts. The article brings this up because here's the quote that says, "The impulse to stay independent, regardless of market trends, is still strong among a significant number of doctors in practice today." A survey of more than 5,000 physicians conducted last year by a malpractice insurer, the Doctors Company, found that 56% of respondents believed that they were unlikely to change practice models over the next 5 years. Now, that means that a majority of doctors are saying, there's no way that I'm going to become a part of some big group or a hospital because, again, as I mentioned, they become employees, and they're paid just a certain set amount of money no matter how many hours they work or how many patients they see. And they have all kinds of onerous rules that they have to follow and so forth. So for that reason, Joseph Valenti, as you can see here on this quote on the screen, who's a doctor, a board member of the Physicians Foundation, says one of the trends we're going to start seeing is all these doctors finding out that it's not as great as they thought and leaving the hospitals and going back out to private practice. So bottom line is, Ron, nobody knows really what's going to happen. We do know this, though, that doctors do not like to be told what to do. They don't like to be restricted in the way they deal with their patients and with their income. And bottom line is they make a whole lot less than they would, of course, in private practice. Now, why are some of them joining the hospitals? It's because they're scared. They see Obamacare coming, and they know that that is going to be something that they don't want to deal with. That's good news for our licensees. I mean, ever since 2008, when Obamacare was first mentioned by President Obama, we had licensees begun to have doctors say, look, I see all this new onerous stuff coming from the government and I don't want to deal with it, so I'm going to outsource my billing. Why? Because that's one of the things that they can outsource in their practice that has nothing to do with what they were trained to do. They were trained to see patients. That's their core competency. So we know that the future is that doctors want to be independent, and they know that they should be outsourcing their billing because that is one of the things that will help them focus more closely on, the thing that's the most important to them, which is seeing patients. Adam, anything you want to add to that? I kind of rambled there for a while, I know.
No, that was a lot of good information, but you're right. I mean, it kind of all boils down to the doctors just don't want to worry about their billing anymore because Obamacare is causing a lot of stress in that area specifically. So, they're squeezing the doctors and they're reducing their payments and they're doing all kinds of stuff, and the doctors are realizing that here's the thing. Doctors, they can make a choice. They can go out of business, they can outsource their billing and stay in business and stay independent, or they can join, a hospital group or an ACO or something like that, an accountable care group. Yeah. So that's what our licensees are trying to do. Is they're trying to get to a doctor before they make a decision to just give up. I mean, we I don't know if you mentioned this, but we have had licensees literally save practices from going out of business. That was their option. The doctors were just going to give up and just completely retire and go out of business. And we were able to help them stay in business. And that's, I mean, that's why we do what we do. So, and even if we do see doctors joining hospital groups, they're unhappy with those groups. They're leaving the groups. The doctors that haven't joined a group yet are even more, struggling because they're seeing more patients because there's less doctors. So, our licensees kind of win either way, in my opinion.
Yeah, and then there are other organizations that are out there that are forming, not hospitals, but just groups of doctors who are getting together because they have better buying power, better negotiating power with the payers, and so forth. And they're just getting together and forming their own groups called ACOs, which stands for Accountable Care Organizations. And which brings up an interesting point, Ron. We are meeting tomorrow in my office with an organization here in the DFW area who actually works nationwide to help doctors form their own groups. And the reason we're meeting with them is because they contacted us and found out what we do and said to us, how would you like to have your licensees be able to go in and help doctors form groups in different areas? These are usually small groups of 3 to 12 doctors, and we can set the whole thing up for the doctors, get the thing organized, help your licensees make money from that forming of that entity. And by the way, at that point, that organization will be recommending your licensee as the billing organization for those doctors. So it could lead to some really big things for our licensees. So I'm pointing all that out, guys, because we stay on top of what's going on in the industry, and we change and mold our model to fit whatever the marketplace demands.
Great. Well, let's go ahead and move on. That was a good answer, I thought. I've got 8:10, so we've got about 20 minutes. We've got a lot of questions we've got to get to. Judy and David asked a question: are home health care companies a good client target? As long as they file what's called a standard HCFA 1500 Medicare form, then they are a potential candidate. So I believe they do. I believe they do file that form. So that's the only thing that you would need to check on.
Yeah, in fact, folks, it's not just doctors. That's why sometimes we refer to your clients, your potential clients, as medical providers, because a home health care, of course, is not necessarily doctors, but they are medical providers. Same way with nursing homes, ambulance companies. Those are not doctors, but they are medical providers, and that term is used for anybody who files on a standard form like Adam just mentioned. It's just a standard. It's a standard form the government came up with to file insurance claims called the 1500 form. So you could ask anybody that's a member of any of those organizations, hey, do y'all file on the 1500 form? They'll know what you're talking about. And if they say yes, then you can do billing for them.
Another question here: will I be able to do any remote billing for a hospital? This is from Teresa. I'm not sure I'm not sure if I'm saying that name right. Sorry. But our system right now is set up to handle processing for that particular form that we just talked about, the HCFA 1500. And I don't want to get too technical on everybody on the call, but hospital, they file a different type of form. And they typically have very, very large in-house, multi-million-dollar billing systems that are already set up, and they're not really a target market for our licensees.
That's correct. Folks, the medical industry itself, the ones that file on that 1500 form, is so huge in your area. You can go to our website. There's a link up at the top that lets you go and find out how many doctors are in your area, and you'll just be amazed at how many prospective clients there are out there without having to worry about hospitals.
Yeah. Jeff asked a good question. I like this question. He says, your YouTube channel has a large amount of uploads lately compared to the last few years. Has medical billing caught a second wind, so to say? And if so, why?
He's talking about our YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course, we got into Sorry, go ahead, Adam.
I was just going to say, well, I came on board full time a few years ago, so that's why it's that's why so much more content has been created.
Yeah, I hated to say that I'm old school and was not up to speed on all that social media stuff out there, including YouTube. But Adam is. He has a Twitter feed. He's got a YouTube channel, of course, and we've got a blog that you guys can go and subscribe to too. You'll see all that on our website under I think it's under news, isn't it, or something like that.
And I helped you send your first tweet the other day. I was pretty proud of you.
Yes, I tweeted. I saw the little birds flying around my head as I tweeted. Yep.
But really, there's another answer to that question. I mean, Ron asked earlier about Obamacare and everything that's going on with electronic medical records. If you've been reading up on that, there is a second wind. I mean, there's been a very, very big interest in the past couple of years in getting into this, specifically because of the government is paying doctors money to get an electronic medical record system, and we have one of those. We have a certified system, so that's been really big. Lots of different things going on in the industry to generate.
Yeah, like I said, folks, since 2008, this thing has kind of exploded on us. Even though we've been in business for 20 years, the last 4 or 5 years have just really been good for us and our licensees. And I think it is because doctors they realize they should be outsourcing something. They shouldn't be trying to do it all, and they're certainly not trained and experts in doing the billing like you will be as an ABS licensee.
Yeah, I mean, this is projected to be a $4.5 trillion industry by 2020. I mean, how many industries can say that?
Yeah, I think I have there was a chart in that magazine article that I think I copied out here, Adam. I'll just stick it up there on the screen. I think it's by the year 2020. Yeah, isn't that 4.4? It's billions, so that's $4.487 billion industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost doubling here from 2010 to 2020. So,
yep,
that's good news for us.
Absolutely. Tim is asking, how much does the software cost? Well, Tim, we actually don't sell the package in bits and pieces. The software is just a small part of our entire business package. And if you go to our website or go to the virtual brochure, you'll actually see it kind of broken down what you get for your money. But the whole package, which includes the software, the training, lifetime support, marketing materials, website, everything, is a one-time fee that you pay up front of $24,990 for the business. Several years back, we tried doing different types of packages that were different, price level, price points, and we realized that people weren't able to be successful if they didn't have access to all the support and all the services that we have. It just wasn't fair. So we stopped doing that. Good question.
Yeah, in fact, you can find out, like he said, exactly what's in the package here on our website. It's right up here under business package, what's included. And how much does it cost? It's all listed right there. But go out and read about what's in the package itself, all the different services and products that you can offer as an ABS licensee. And then be sure and click on this little link right here. Let's see, it's coming up the screen. Here it comes. Right here where it says here. That will take you to a screen that actually lists all of the different components of the package, including our lifetime support, and all the different things that are included in that package. Yeah.
All right. Brian is asking, we get this question all the time, does the software work for dentists?
No, Brian, the software is made for medical billing. Not that there's not dental billing that's done out there, of course. And we tell people, look, we have software that's specific to the medical billing industry because doctors see a lot more patients than dentists do, for one thing, and there's not as many people that have insurance. So you won't find that marketplace out there for dental billing to be near as big as the medical billing. However, we do have software that's available to our licensees for doing the dental billing. So the short answer is yes, you can do medical billing and dental billing, but they're two separate systems. They're not all in one, software system. That's not something that we promote to our licensees. and don't even list it, I don't think, in the package that I just showed you there on our website, because we don't want you to focus on the thing that is the least profitable, but the one that's the most profitable, and that's medical billing.
Yeah, we have found dental to be quite laborious and not really worth the effort. Now, we do have services, some of our ancillary services that dentists love, and we talk about that in training. So you'll be able to learn about that when you come to the class.
Yeah, some of you have probably seen, some of the stuff on our website. I'll put a slide up here right now that shows some of the other services that you'll be able to offer as an ABS licensee, and you'll find more about that in that virtual brochure too.
Okay, so Karen had her hand up for a long time here. I just realized she raised her hand back, Karen. So Karen, if you are ready, I'm going to try to unmute you. Here we go. Unmuting Karen. Karen, you there?
Hello, here again.
I think we
you
talked
remember your
Can
question?
you guys hear me?
We talked to her and Wayne earlier.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we actually have 2 more questions, if that's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sure.
Okay, my first question is, since you guys have been doing this for so many years, what have some of the licensees, what have they done for themselves in the way of actually, some of them have come out of corporate America, and what are they doing for themselves as far as having, medical insurance for themselves?
Well, Karen, that's a simple answer. They make enough money as a business owner now to afford their own health insurance. I mean, I don't mean to sound like that's, but it is true that as a business owner, of course, for example, a typical family of 4 might pay. Sorry,
I went ahead and muted her real quick.
Oh yeah, sorry. So Karen, a typical family of 4 might pay who knows what for health insurance on their own, $800, $1,000 a month, who knows. But owning your own business, of course, is different because you have a lot of tax advantages, for example, for spending your own money on your own health care. And you'll be earning enough money as your own business owner to more than compensate for having worked for somebody else. Everybody limits their thinking on those benefits that you're getting now from your employer only are given to you because they don't pay you enough. And if you made enough money in your own business to be able to afford those things, then it's a non, it's not an issue. So I hope
Okay,
that
I'm going
helps.
to unmute you. I'm going to unmute you again. You're unmuted now.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great to find out. Thank you.
Hi, Patrick, and I'm Wayne.
Yeah.
Hey there.
No, the reason why I say that, I'm currently an executive in my company, corporate, and we're just concerned about the money we have to make. If I come out, both of us will be out of corporate America. So of course we wouldn't do that until we have a plan, until we get to the point where we have enough revenue. To your point, Patrick, you were spot on. I mean, that was the other question I had was more or less around the enhancements. So just to avoid some of the copycats in the industry, because you guys have a great system and a great product, which you offer us as licensees. The question I have is, what are you guys doing from an investment perspective for research and development? Ensure that you're always a step ahead of the copycats out in the industry, so we're protected.
Great question, Wayne. Thank you. I'm going to mute you again here so we don't get some feedback. As I mentioned earlier, we're meeting, for example, tomorrow with this ACO organization here in our offices here in Fort Worth. We spend a lot of money and a lot of time. We have a full-time, our director of research and development, Eric Auger, of course, is on these webinars a lot. He's just not feeling well tonight, so he's not on here. But he basically spends time, travels. We go to our technology partners, and we find constantly what's out there in the marketplace to stay ahead. Because I'm a firm believer, Wayne, in the old saying, only the paranoid survive. In business, you have to be paranoid. You have to be always looking at what's going to be changing from government rules and regulations. The marketplace itself changes. The consumer's needs changes. The competition changes. So you have to stay on top of those types of things if you want to stay in business. All I can say is that we are here since 1994 when we first started, licensing people and training people in this industry, and we have seen, a half a dozen big companies that were doing something similar to what we're doing go out of business in that period of time. Why is that? It has to be because we are paranoid. We are staying on top of, what's going on in the industry.
Yeah, and we also, we have a really good model set up where, our licensee base all over the country, we have a lot of feet on the street. So we are getting very, very fast, feedback back from our licensees when doctors start asking about this, that, and the other, different products, different technology, and that's what we've been doing for many, many years now, is listening to that need and saying, you know what, we need to research that. We need to find a technology partner. We need to do this, that, and the other for that particular thing that's coming down the pipe. So
yeah, in 2 weeks, for example, our Director of Research and Development, Eric Auger, and our Director of Operations, Jordan Ransom, are both flying out for a weekend training session with one of our technology partners. We stay up to date on what's going on in the industry. And Eric, in fact, has set up a doctor here locally that we're actually doing the billing for that doctor. So he is doing the research and development in this respect. He's doing exactly and using the system, exactly the same system that you guys are using to make sure that we are keeping up with what the needs of the doctor are out there. Now, I'm also going to give you one other little insight here, since Adam brought up a good point. Our licensee base is from coast to coast, and we do have a lot of people out there on the streets, so to speak. So I'm going to show you a screenshot here of our licensee forum. Now, this is something I don't normally let people take a look at, but I'm just going to give you a peek at it here. Once you're an ABS licensee, you'll have access to this forum where our licensees can go in and type in questions and comments and suggestions and basically have a discussion with all of our other licensees from coast to coast. So this is one of the reasons why we can stay up on what's going. We monitor this forum, of course, my staff does, and we keep up with what is going on out in the field. So we've got a lot of research and development going on, just from the licensee standpoint alone there.
Yeah, we've actually we've got about 5 minutes here, so we probably need to kind of speed it along if we can. We've got a bunch more questions. Here's another one. I'm not quite sure how to answer this. Does the HIPAA Business Associates Agreement apply to us? Are we considered third-party contractors?
Yes. That question from Teresa, maybe?
Yeah.
Teresa, is a standard form that the government has come up with for the HIPAA rules and regulations. That's the Health Insurance Protection and Portability Act that guarantees the security and the privacy of the patient data. You, as a medical biller, would sign one of those with the doctor. It's a standard form. We've got a copy here, of course. But, yeah, it's a business associates agreement that basically says you are going to follow the rules and regulations of HIPAA for keep the data private. Mm-hmm.
Right. Candace asks, do you have any workshops near Georgia? Candace, at this point in time, we're doing our live training workshops near our headquarters in the Dallas-Fort Worth area only. We have, it is not mandatory that you come to the live class if for some reason you can't travel. Obviously, it's highly recommended that you come to the class, but we have had licensees that have been successful without coming to the live class. So, we do have a way for you to go through the program from home, but obviously, if you can get to Dallas, it's highly recommended. Let's see. So we've got Eric is asking, how difficult is it to switch to a client to your system? What pushback do you get from doctors? What's the process? It's not very difficult. We have a team, a technical team that will walk you through the steps of okay, now I've got a signed agreement. You know, we've already done a demo and a proposal, and they signed the agreement. Now what? I mean, that's a big part of our support and what we do. We get a lot of calls from licensees saying, okay, I've got a signed contract. Now what the heck do I do? How do I get them into the system? And so we have a team that will help with that transition and walk you through and tell you exactly what information you need to gather from the doctors to put into the system to get them switched over, and it's pretty painless.
Yeah, in fact, Eric, we've got live training webinars that your new clients can attend. These webinars that are scheduled throughout the week to learn the system. We can do one-on-one training sessions with them. We have recorded videos that they can watch and that you can watch, of course, to learn the system. So it's very step-by-step as to how to get up in speed on it. The pushback that you get from doctors, of course, is that they think what they have now is working. I mean, that's honestly, if you think about it, they're either outsourcing their billing right now to another company or they're doing it themselves in their own office. And so the pushback is it's an educational process. Basically, we teach you to go in and educate them and help them realize that maybe they're not collecting all the money that they could be collecting and therefore losing a lot of income that that's rightfully theirs. Yeah. So that's a part of why we are successful with our licensees is we teach people exactly how to do that.
Okay, I've got a couple of hands raised again, again. Marie raised her hand again, so let's see if I can. Marie, I'm going to unmute you now, so let's see if this works. Marie, are you on there?
Yes, I am, but I didn't mean to hit that. Sorry. When it closed by itself, and I just reopened it. And
that's
your finger slipped, huh? All right, we'll go ahead and meet you back. We'll go ahead and meet you back.
We're keeping you awake at least, Marie. That's good.
And Karen raised her hand again. I guess Karen's got another question. Let's see if we can unmute her real quick. Karen, you there? Karen?
I'm sorry. I thought I lowered it. Can you hear me?
Okay. You're good. Yeah, we can hear you. You good now?
I'm sorry. I thought I lowered my hand. I was lowering it. Sorry about that.
That's okay. No problem. I'll go ahead and mute you again. Okay. Steve raised his hand. Let's see. Steve, if you're ready, I'm going to unmute you. Get ready, Steve. Here we go. Steve, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Patrick. Hey, I wanted to ask if you could expound upon that last comment that you made with regard to the pushback from the doctors, and then the ABS comeback is that you're not getting as much money as you can, and we'd like to show you how. Could you be a little bit more specific with what the doctor is not doing to collect as much money from his account base or from his resources or his cash flow?
Sure, you bet. That's a great question that a lot of licensees don't think about this, but could we mute him, Adam? I'm sorry, I'm getting a lot of feedback there. So
yeah, I just muted him.
The question is basically this: does the doctor really collect all that he thinks he is collecting? You see, if he's having his own staff do the collecting, remember they've got a million other things that they've got to focus on in the doctor's office besides doing the billing. So, and they weren't trained probably properly how to do it. They were just taught by the person who was there before they were. And so one of the things that the doctors think is happening is that they're collecting a good portion. If you ask a doctor, how much do you think you collect of all the dollars you bill to the insurance companies, how much do you think you collect? Well, they know they don't collect 100% of that, right? Because they do have some rejected claims and so forth. But most of them would guess probably, 90, 95%. I get that much money. The reality is that doctors are only collecting probably about 60% of the money that they're billing. That's what we found nationwide. Now, we can actually show that our system has a rejection rate on the claims of less than 2%. And so we can bring in a whole lot more money for a doctor than they're currently collecting. They have rejection for all sorts of reasons, but one of them is, for example, the eligibility of a patient. A doctor may see a patient, and the patient's not even eligible, according to their insurance company, to reimburse the doctor. Well, our system checks for that eligibility in real time before the patient ever walks in the door. And so that cuts down, way down, on the billing that's done for, money that they'll never collect, because we've already made sure that the patient is eligible before the doctor would see them. So that's just some of the reasons, but believe me, when we go through the training class, you'll be amazed at what doctors have told us they really think that they're collecting, and then what we actually collect for them and how we bring their income up, in many cases, more than 30%. We literally can increase their income and their revenue by 30%. So we go into real detail on that. I'm sorry I can't give you all the details, but I hope I gave you kind of a hint there that it's part of it is the system, part of it is our training for you as to how to do the billing so that it's done correctly. The other big thing, of course, is that they're using codes that are usually out of date, or that they could be coding differently to earn more revenue from those same patients. And our coding system, of course, helps with that as well.
Yeah, and really what it boils down to is the doctors are just, a lot of times, are just clueless. They don't know what they don't know, and that's why we do that thorough analysis to help show them what's going on with their finances.
Yeah, it's a practice analysis that we do with them. That's right. I didn't even touch on that, Adam, but it's a practice analysis that we teach you to go in and get some answers to some questions, come back, put that into one of our software tools that we have that breaks that cost down for the doctor and proves to them in black and white that you can increase their revenues.
Well, it's 8:34. We've gone over, and so I apologize for that. But for anybody who would like to stay on, we're going to go ahead and finish answering all the questions that have been asked. I've got about half a dozen more questions. So